And you can tell everybody this is a song.
Pod. I've been waiting to do that theme. Little thought of a theme. Of course, there's copyright shit, but if this podcast or episode is true, then it's not indicative of future possible podcasts. Then it's quite possible I'm dead right now. But I'll get to that. What I've got coming. I decided to do a podcast after having listened to two. And years ago, I listened to almost all of Ricky Gervais's, the ones that, when Carl was with them, on mics instead of just, I guess, producing or whatever in the earlier ones. And I love those. And then David Hughes, I follow him on Twitter. He's really funny, and he doesn't have a lot of episodes right now, but I was like, I want to do it, but I listened to a podcast of how to do a podcast, and it really gave me some great advice, because what I was going to do was going to be shit. Total shite. I'm learning my toys. It was going to be just rambling. Well, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But then it hit me, because when I was listening to it, he was talking about the different types of podcasts, and the one that just clicked was storytelling. Now, I've got a blog that I write and have stories on, because I've been writing stories, for a long time. And I never, do much with them after my circle of friends reads them, edit the hell out of myself, and that's about it. And I'm like, I am now 49 years old, and I am not going to waste time back and forth with editors, and it's like I want people to enjoy them, so I'm going to give it to them for free. Now, reading is going to be interesting, because I don't know, I just can lapse into a southern accent sometimes. Raised in Atlanta, but I was born in California, and copied my mom because she was from California. And I did not want a southern accent when I moved here. And I told her that. I was 5 years old. And so I was told I had a cosmopolitan accent. Like I was hard to place, and it was good for radio. Well, I was never going to be on radio. That's live. Can't handle that pressure. But this, I think this might fit me like a slipper. So I got a couple different ideas that are going to be going on. I think it'll be fun, because I'm going to alternate two different types of stories. Well, first of all, I'm thinking of like Monday and Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But Wednesday and Friday would be alternating weeks. Monday would be every week, and Monday is like this, me talking, and I'm gonna probably talk about the upcoming stories for the week, and maybe where I came up with the ideas, and because sometimes it's interesting, and sometimes it just pops in my head because it's weird in there. And there's if there's any other crap going on, because there's a lot of crap going on, but I am not going to be talking about the idiotic crap that everybody's talking about, because two things I don't really discuss with people, because they're such contentious subjects, are politics and religion. Now, I might touch on them a little bit, and give some frame of reference and a little context in what I might say, but I don't have any desire. I am a full believer in agreeing to disagree. I have no right to force my opinion on you. It's like online gaming. Oh, you're doing that wrong. Fuck you. You send me the rule book. There's no right or wrong way to play those games. It's like, those are your rules and yours alone. So you follow them, but leave me alone, because they're not my rules. Oh, God, I lost my place. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so the alternating stories. Now, I have a lot of... I tend to fluctuate in the whole sci-fi fantasy type area, but I can't write anything normal, anything at all. I've got a series of stories, because I read an article that there was a serious lack of gay fiction. Now, I happen to be gay, and actually a newlywed. Got married January 1st. My husband and I have been together over 11 years, and so that was just a formality, really, but it was fun. It was great fun. And it was, so much less pressure than if it had been at the beginning of the relationship. So we did everything wrong anyway, I never believed in love at first sight. I'm not going to get sappy, but it happened. It's really true, and I can get into later about where that all, comes from when I saw him first, but I'm not going to do it right now because that's not what this is about. But we moved in after a couple of months together. He proposed the next month at Christmas. So we've been engaged for 11 years. Wow, that's a long engagement, but at least it's better than the 7 weddings for 3 brothers. At least 2 of them stuck with 2. Port number 4. I'll, be talking some about my family because it can get interesting in a different way than other families are interesting, of course. I've always had a fascination with human nature, and I'd love to go over to my friends' houses when I was growing up and see how they do things, the little rituals they had, and especially if they were from other countries. We had a family in our church from Germany and Finland, and it was, that's where I got introduced to Nutella. Before it was like everywhere in the stores. But, oh my good Jesus Christ. Okay, so I've got all of these stories, and I've got a series that's based loosely on my husband and myself. And I cannot stress enough how abnormal I must tell stories. And it's an interesting story. Like the first episode is when, kind of when we meet, and I've got woven truths into the fabric of the tapestry. I'm going to get fancy. But of course there's a whole, most of it, made up, but situations and places, especially for the first one, because it takes place in Knoxville, where we met at a bar we used to frequent, or I frequented before I met him, and he had been there before. And it's basically, we meet under the situation of, I don't know, he is, I'm not going to give that away, never mind, in case you read it. I hope you do, or listen to it, one or the other, because like I said, I got the blog where I put them to in writing, like a caveman. But I decided, I'll say them, because then some of the editing might come out better if I'm actually saying the words instead of somebody reading them, and maybe I missed some punctuation or something. So I think that'll work out really well. And then especially, like, I'm getting old, so all my friends are getting old, and more than one are having trouble with their eyes. So I figure these will be good. And then my niece, she's only 8 years younger than me, but she's so damn busy. It, might be good for her to listen to in the car. She's getting busy in the car. How are you busy in the car? She's going to kill me for saying this, but she did give me the good news that she's been cutting back on drinking, and she stopped drinking on the way to work in the morning. Sorry, Andrea. That's as funny as Rena's spaghetti and French fries story. Her mom at Christmas. I'll get into that later, because her mom's a whole different kind of crazy. And she was ragging on her daughter, Rena, my friend, for eating spaghetti because she had opened up all the French fries and she was cooked them. And she was afraid Rena's going to get filled up on. Oh, God damn it. I wish I had waited, because I was going to have her on as a guest to tell it. I'm going to do that. So you'll get the full story, because she tells it much better. Those two, Andrea and Rena, funniest. I've never laughed with anybody as much as I laughed with those two. We're all funny in all my little group I've collected over the years. I've collected the best of the best and got rid of the riffraff. So, I've got really good stability there. It helps a lot. So there's that series of a lot of different adventures, ghosts, parallel universes. There's even one where it's a version back in like medieval times in a fairy tale setting, but it's us, and it surprisingly will tie in later on, because I kind of write a series of stories like a series of episodes of a season of a TV show. It's how I like to do it. So like the last one in the series will usually have a big cliffhanger. And then I've got my big passion, which is The Witch of Nothing, that I made. And I've got enough stories to actually, have a book, but I can't do the back and forth with all that, all those pages and get, have my words, they can be made better, but they can also be made wrong. No, that's not what I meant, because I love to play with words and make up words and make up names. I know it's taboo to have crazy names in, different periods of time that don't belong, but who cares? It's fiction for a reason, because it's not really real, people. And like the people who think movies are real, or TV that's real. What are you, 4? Well, The Witch of Nothing, I got a lot of great stories and great characters out of that one. That one's definitely fantasy. I don't know what I would call this, the gay, it's not, they're not like, sexual. They're just living our normal lives and, meeting the parents and meeting, workmates, and then things happen, and kind of like a heart-to-heart on acid, or if heart-to-heart had been written by Dean Koontz. Yeah, that's a good description. Oh, 11 minutes already. Wow, or 12 minutes. Wow. It's gonna be hard to do because I'm a talker. Let's see. What other series do I have? Xanadu Supernova. That's completely science fiction. Those are much shorter stories, but they kind of will make up a book. And I actually have a trilogy planned out on that one. I've got, all the stories for the Witch of Nothing series. And they're all preambles, is what they are, to a Witch of Nothing novel that I began planning at first. And I was tired of planning it. I was ready to write, to start writing for those characters. And it just, snowballed. Because it started with Smithereens. And then they kind of came in different orders, coming up with different characters, and then adding them into different outlines, and then I've got some standalone stories. Oh, and then I'm a big fan of whatever you want to call it, tetralogy. That's what I like to call it, the 4-parters instead of the 3-parter. And so I've got some planned that are going to be my versions. These are going to be less. Well, never mind. Not less crazy. I just remembered. And they're all on like urban legends. Right? The first one's on, about Bigfoot, and it's called Wrong Face. And the whole, series of them will be under the heading of God stuff, and that's what they all are. They're all God stuff, and Wrong Face is one of them. And it's he's an interesting character. Well, not monster, because he's misunderstood. And so a little child finds him, a little child who's in a really bad situation after his mother dies. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that's right. Then I like the tetralogy, so I've got one very science fiction called Slumber Guard, and it's 4 stories, series. So they go right in line, and you just follow the whole bunch of goofy people into the future, because it's about these capsules, or not coffins, but chambers, the Slumber Guard chamber, that's it. And they were created, and just as a side note, in the book too, or in the stories too, maybe convey people to Mars, long-term travel in space. And somebody accidentally gets locked into it, and it's set for waking in 1,000,000 years. And so, it continues on with someone that, you think it's like a completely different story about the same topic, and then you find out in that one that they start to interweave, and I made my friends Arena and Colleen into robots. to start the robot army. Oh, it's madness. Now, then, that's going to be Fridays. Alternating Fridays is going through, like Slumberguard will probably take 4 or 5 podcast episodes at least. It's a long story. It's like, well, yeah, it's a long story. It's like 1,200 words. I guess it's a novelette maybe, and that's about the length of the Slumberguards. The other ones are I have a hard time because I believe that the story lets me know how long it's going to be. Well, usually not till the end, but as I feel the narrative, go and maybe things get added to it that add something later on, or I elaborate on. Because I try to give really good descriptions so you can picture it in your mind without overdoing it, and dwelling on it too much, and then you might get a little bit more information about person or thing later. So I think that I don't plan. I tried that and it did not work. 7,500 words with Smithereens, and those were all around 8,000 except for one. That's about the same as one of the Slumberguards. And I just started one. I wanted to write something superhero-ish, kind of like, just a narrative that's kind of set up like, a comic book. And, they come out with a series of, like whatever's going on, with, the Dark Knight or Superman or Wonder Woman, and they're all, it's like this little tales told over however many comic book issues. And so this one's going to be actually 12 issues. I just finished the first one. And he's pretty much, you're going to meet the other, superheroes. Now, I didn't use the names because I really wasn't sure about that. Like that song, what's Elton going to do? Yeah, because, if it's true that I'm dead, what's it going to do? But it's only a few seconds. And really, it was one of the first songs I thought of. And God, that Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album, I can remember. I had it on 8-track, if you really want to know. So that was, I just used that. I'm not going to use that. I actually going to try to, make my own music, and I found some very, neat instruments, nothing elaborate. I listened to some podcasts, getting ready for this, since I hadn't really, and I was a little bit surprised at the production value of some of them on, some of the things that people were doing that might be simple. I just don't know yet. And it just really, tarted up the podcast. And that's what I'm trying to do. I even bought many different times of hourglasses, and that's what I'm going to use, kind of. Although now that I don't totally have GarageBand figured out yet, so because it only recorded so much, and I'm running out of time because I might die tomorrow. Again, I'm going to get back to that. So I'm using a voice memo because I was very surprised to find out that that some podcasters just use their earbuds and iPhones and iPads. I kind of got trying different things, and I got a couple different microphones. I like this one a lot. Now the other one I've got is really, really good on a game, because I like to have the TV or music on. I'll turn it down a little bit, but it'll still come through. Oh geez, it's almost time to go to bed and get up to die. So let me go over that. Oh, but first, the last bit of the podcast is every other Wednesday. This is something I have had probably the most fun, just silly fun writing, and it is because I really, except for Soap and Mary Hartman, haven't really seen a good takeoff of a soap opera, like, really, really kind of staying true to the whole, like, twins taking the place of the other twins while the other twin is locked in their basement kind of thing, mistaken identities. It's really, really, really crazy. I can't write anything normal, but these people in this town of Tempest have no idea that their lives are not normal. Insanity. It's one word I'm the most free with something popping into my head and my using it. I love to do that. I love to lay unplanned topics or threads of storyline into my stories, and then it's a challenge for myself to then use it later, or even build up to it. Oh, so this will be a 30-minute podcast because I'm at 21 minutes now, and this will be good. But I've been calling it Days of General Restlessness, but it's kind of long for a thumbnail picture on the podcast, so I think I'm going to change it to, let me get this right, Bold and Restless Lives. Oops. Yeah, that's Bold and Restless Lives. Yeah, that'll be, I can't even explain to you some of it. I'll just, I can even put credits and everything because I've guessed there are special guest stars in it. And I just can't do anything normal. I swear, I can't reiterate that enough. One of the actual regular characters, but she only pops up, not in every story, is in the credits as, excuse me, Dame Judi Dench. Oh, no, sorry, wrong one. I was just watching her last night. Dame Maggie Smith as Countess, or Dowager Countess Grantham as Dame Judy Smith. So just let that sink in a little bit. Yeah. Damn, I'm doing it again. Dame Maggie Smith as the Dowager Countess as Dame Maggie Smith. She seems to be very unaffected by the random deaths that happen around her, and she's a school teacher. But she's very, very Maggie Smith. I always loved Maggie Smith. I was just watching Murder by Death the other day. I love that movie. It's so hilarious. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so the soap will be every other Wednesday. I have already the first 7 episodes written, and that I'm going to plan, I think, on binging. That seems to be popular now, and I actually did that with this on my blog. I released 7 at one time, and then there's going to be 8 more. Yeah, because there's 15 total in this first season of the soap, and it really builds up crazily to something that you really don't expect in every single episode, finding out, and I put myself in it. And I've never done that before. I mean, of course, elements of myself and people, and, they say pretty much most characters are, like in dreams, represent a part of us. I put my damn self in. But finding out about what the town is, because it's on a plateau at the eastern edge of the Rocky Mountains, where the, true Chinook winds, blow down from the cliffs, except in the soap, when the Chinook winds come, they have very, mystical properties to them and make some very interesting changes to people. For instance, how sometimes it'll be like, well, the part of this is now being played by so-and-so. The Chinook winds will actually turn people into other people. But nobody remembers that they were not that person before. I think it's fun. I like it a lot. A lot of fun writing it. It's fucking ridiculous. Man, I really, really can't. I love it. Okay, I hope you guys love it too. But I will, get into that more on the first Monday's episode. Now, to wrap up, I will get back to me being dead. Because hopefully in a week or two, it will begin. But I'm at least going to begin the Monday ones to kind of, get going, and then be prepared to. I got quite a few stories to, split up on Fridays over, several weeks or month and a half, 2 months even maybe. And then Days of General Restless, I need to get back to more. I've been doing a lot of stuff. Last year was a really bad year. Getting married on the 1st of this year was a great way to start the new year, but I've had a lot of loss over the last 8-9 years, I guess. Some very unexpected and some very devastating, and I'm very glad that I had my husband, and because he helped keep me from just really. I mean, he saw me depressed, and I dropped almost every television show, and it was just very bad year. Got hacked and robbed and attempted murder. But I come out unscathed pretty much. So, haha, you didn't kill me. And in the middle of the year, though, I found out I got colorectal cancer. So tomorrow I'm having surgery, and it's, the doctor's very, positive about the outlook. Now, there was some trouble because I got sick right before the last scheduled surgery 3 days before, and respiratory, I couldn't be put under. I don't want to be put under anyway. I've never had anything really done except adenoids taken out, wisdom teeth, and an ingrown toenail. So nothing really invasive. And this isn't totally invasive either. Not like taking a kidney out or something. So, but I'm hoping for the best, and expect the worst. I know that's used a lot, but it's kind of what I do. But I'm prepared. I try to be prepared, not in a morose way, but just as an example, my father always thought or figured as soon as he made a will, he'd die. So he never made one, and I didn't want to leave Scott that way. You have to, figure out and deal with stuff. And oh my God, I don't even know how I'm going to get those. I'm going to have like nurses witness our signature on my will and my advance directive and stuff, because I have been running out of time. And the weekend was really horrible, and I've hardly gotten any sleep. That's why I sound like this, which is not too bad of a thing, because probably is a bad thing. My voice really carries. Like, I'm basically whispering right now. So, with any surgery, there is a chance. With it being put under, there is a chance, of course. And not to get into it right now, but suspicions kind of rose up around the name of my surgeon. And I can't even go into that because it deals with the attack. But I may tell that someday. It's kind of interesting. It started about 2 years ago, but sometimes you piss off. Well, actually, I pissed off the right people. It just, I let my guard down one day, and they finally got to me after 2 years. But 48 hours, I figured out what they were doing and put a stop to it. So then I just had to deal with the aftermath and, the sadness of the griefs that I've been encountering coming back, and sitting there, no Christmas decorations, and I was like, I am reappropriating this holiday at this time of the year. And we started planning the wedding. Very impromptu. I mean, we started planning it before. Been together 11 years. Always planned it. So, I let go of all the needing to be perfect kind of stuff, and it was so relaxed. And I'm like, come in your pajamas if you want to. Dustin came in his pajamas. He got so mad because nobody else did. But that's not my fault. I told everybody to come in pajamas. I wanted to wear pajamas too. Oh, wait a minute. Did I? Oh, I can't remember what I wore. But it was fun, and my oldest friend, one of my oldest friends, she officiated for us, and that was a delight also. And everybody was chilling, and I was always known for bringing either Jell-O shots or melon balls to parties, and so I made Jell-O shots, and it was a nice day. So now I'm, ready to get back into it, and I've been writing through it, though. I found I've been able to write, but yeah, I did some, standalone stories. And I love those too. Those ended up being really good. But I just hit the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to say that I will hopefully see you in about a week, next Monday, 8 days. And I will be able to talk more about what's coming, because I love my stories. And they're not perfect because, they don't need to be. And I'm, just want to share them, and I think they're great, and all my friends do, and if they're just saying so, then I'll just have to punch them in the mouth. But you guys, I hope you have a great week, and if I die, have a great life.